Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Big Chonis. Hello to everybody in the chat room. Hang out with me tonight on this Friday evening as we watch the closing candle, the last hour of Bitcoin on this day, come to a close. And what an interesting day it was. Very nice bullish pop, retesting key areas, and we are seeing how we are holding in this area here of continued support after our bullish breakthrough of this inverse BART or tower bottom pattern we had here after we broke bearish on yesterday's price action. So interesting way to end the day here. On a very bullish day, we have to admit, in the price of Bitcoin. We can zoom out to our daily candle and look at our bullishly engulfing candle after yesterday's bearish break of both of our EMAs here, able to break above and close above. And are we going to see continuation moving forward as we start a new day in the price of Bitcoin? And you guys can follow me on Twitter. I am at Big Chonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I'm a crypto trader, an investor, a mentor, a chart psychologist. Remember to please do your own research. Also taking on new students for my online personalized mentoring discussions. It's about an hour long or so, and it's a great way to allow me to answer any questions you might have and talk about some trading ideas and how to set up your trading view indicators and all sorts of stuff we can accomplish in an hour time. And remember to follow me on YouTube as well. I'm also a contributor to the Bitcoin Live and enjoy putting out great content on that platform as well. All right, getting back to Bitcoin here on our daily candle. What a great candle it was to close out, and we're still ranging in this area. Now, a couple things of note. What does this candle tell us? What is this support of 3500s, the high 3500s tell us? It tells us that there's buyers here. There's buyers at this area of price action, clearly confirmed with a good volume day as we're actually stepping up our volume profile on my daily candle here. Okay, and able to put in a higher low from not just yesterday's candle, but the day before. And trying to tackle potentially another retest of the $4,000 area. Now our wick on our candle here, we're talking, what is that? That's like under $100, let's just call it. Very strong candle here, good volume. And this tells us that yesterday's close and today's open, very little wicks in both areas there. So it shows us the strength for now at the market wants to confirm that this 3570 area is an area that the bulls will fight for and where there's a liquidity pool of buyers. However, we are still continuing to hold a lower low pattern, from our $4,200 area we achieved many days ago. It's been almost a week. It's been 5 days, right? Since we get topped off in the price action of Bitcoin. And up until this candle here, we've been bearish ever since here. Now, we can see a couple of things here I just want to point out. Notice our volume bar here. This is our overall average, still declining. Okay, even though we're having our bullish move here, we're still having an overall declining volume. And that's going to be important to keep an eye on for an overall trend of continuation. Okay, as we move forward and try and at least continue the chance to retest our most recent resistant areas here. Now, let's start with 4,200. We need to acknowledge 4,400, the area where we topped off last time back in the end of November. And our overall pattern goal that we're trying to achieve here, to basically have that double test of that bullish turn bearish resistance continually there. So a great day, a great price action, a great good candle in Bitcoin. A lot of alts were able to move as well with the price action here. A couple of my overall indicators I keep watching here. My EMAs are still separated here. We're still waiting for that bull cross confirmation on the higher time frame, the daily chart. Okay, our 12-hour chart, we're also still waiting for that bear cross. Now, we talk about indicators we all use. We like to have different time frames that work best for us, that we're comfortable with. There's no wrong answers in this. For me, my preference is on my lower from a time duration, EMA 12, EMA 26. I like to use my MAs on more higher time frames, the 50, the 100, the 200. And I watch how they dance in relation to our price action. I look for areas where they seem to be too spread out, either overextension, too overbought, or too spread out, overextension, too oversold. And I use that to form a bias about where I want to go in the price of Bitcoin and where I want to go in terms of my trade. Waiting for signals of confirmation, bull crosses and bear crosses. And so far, the bulls still have control in the 12-hour chart. We did not bear cross here. It came very close to that, but it was saved by our bullish continuation here. Now, our 4-hour chart, and I'm going to get rid of my EMAs here for just a moment. I'm going to bring up my Ichimoku, which I've been using, and really trying to use my 4-hour chart as a good reference to get a sense of where we're going here. So we watched the break and the failure to hold that cloud support. And that was duly noted, as that was our first 4-hour break since we were actually able to confirm the bullish support of it. But now that we were able to get back in on this entry here and close above, this is an extremely bullish sign, because now we've confirmed that we're not going across again into a bearish twist, at least not yet. And we can actually use our upper cloud as support as we continue higher. But still, our only support gets us as far as a couple $100 extension over our cloud to begin with, even when we were very bullish here, okay? We didn't get more than, so about $400, and now we're about almost $100. So still, we don't get that far above our cloud before we get too far above and look for it to act as support. And I've even been watching it on my 6-hour chart. Okay, and this is interesting here because this is, again, I'm on a higher time frame, so I'm a little behind. But what this shows me is that, again, same thing, we broke through the cloud, unable to hold, broke back into it. A little struggle initially to get out of it, but now we're finding it as support. And we can ride this a little bit down for consolidation before getting back into more of a greener pastures and potentially more stronger support in the 3750s to build on that to go higher. We don't have to shoot to 4200 just yet. We don't have to shoot to 4400 just yet. We don't have to test these areas just yet. We can go one step at a time. We had broken bearishly of a magnitude of about $500 from our $4,200 top off all the way down to, no, more than that, $700. Okay, this is quite a big pullback. So for now, all we're doing is just correcting from our current pullback. Okay, bearish break, bullish expanse, bearish break, bullish expanse. Okay, these volume bars on our 6-hour chart were great. 4 hours were even better, right? Now we did close this 4-hour candle, not the best looking candle. We're also hitting Kaijin resistance, and we see how that resistance line hit there. We were able to break above, but now it's acting as resistance once again. It's slowing us down a little bit. It's saying not so fast. We're not ready yet to break that much higher. Maybe we need to test a little more support. Okay, maybe a little more back test here as our volume is declining. The bottom line is this: we have set a high and now we have a higher low. Okay, breaking through this, retargeting this area, and this area is strong resistance. We cannot deny that between 4,000 and 4,200 corresponds with a lot of price action here as well. Anything breaking above 42 only may have a couple more $100 left into it to 44. So we're still talking about an area of just a couple $100 in either direction here. The low and then the higher low here. Now we have a lower low of both of these. So we still have to get through this to get through this. And there weren't any buyers. Once we broke through 4K, there weren't any buyers there. So the $4,000 now, from a psychological standpoint, okay, from a real point of the situation here, is that you're seeing the continuation want to continue, but we're still seeing that lower low take place. Go back to my daily chart since we finished our day up here, and let's talk about a couple indicators here. RSI, yay, we're above 50. So this was interesting. Remember I talked about how holding 50 pull this back up here, is holding that area is so important for that expansion. It gives us this candle, it gives us this candle, it gives us this candle, okay, of our RSI. Because we broke through 50 the past couple days and got down to 43, that was like literally on the cusp of this failure here and basically a full reversal all back. But that's the thing, we have found that support. We have closed our candle above 50. And I want to feel a bullish sense there, but we have this short-term lower low, lower low, lower low resistance, which is now 52. So if we can break this lower low, which we've held for a week here, okay, this lower low is important. December 20th, December 24th, there's enough time to set these lower lows as significant areas there, okay? There are times to keep that as a sense to see if we actually can really bust out of here and get up to our next major resistance, which would be breaking where we first found that resistance at 56. And we're talking about 60. We're talking about right here, 59.60, which we hit about November 7th. That's the higher low the breakout of the RSI can achieve with a close above 52 on the daily chart. So if you're playing from a longer term daily perspective, a good confirmation, a close above, maybe it needs to backtest before it goes up. But this line I'll be watching to see if that lower low can be turned into a higher low. Oops. Well, that's why. Stochastic here, daily stochastic, bear bull cross. But we broke through the support of our 80 area where we wanted to hold for the most bullish sense. We did that last time, remember? We got halfway down, bull cross, only to fade it. So far, bull cross fade on an overall downdraft. Where's the support? Right here. So we hold this area either here to the higher high, which is where we are now, and we can go one more attempt before we have to do a full completion. That would coincide with putting in this higher high here, where we had finally found this bull cross only to be faked out. So is this going to be another fake out bull cross, confirming that higher high that needs to hold the 60 area on the daily? Okay. Now MACD, it's kind of a mixed bag here. We've been watching our rising indicators here for the past several days, and we've been watching our spread of our leading and trailing be so big here and so oversold that was a good indicator to get a sense that we were just oversold and there was a good risk versus reward when these were spread out so much. We got a little ahead of our skis here, but we're still spread. We're still angled with bullish intent, even though our histogram, I knew I had this from last time, is still showing those lower lows. Let me get rid of this and kind of draw a cleaner picture here. Okay, so we're watching a couple things here. We're watching our ski slope that is paused. And now can our skier take off here like this? And we do a second hump similar to, let's say this guy here, where we didn't fully correct. Maybe this guy here. There's precedent. Yeah, this guy here, where we did a second hump, but it was always a lower low. Except for this. This was a higher low. So that's our best bull case scenario here, where we do this. And we're going to know in a day or two, because if we can keep putting in this stability here with a higher low in our histogram bars, this is achievable. If we start doing this and putting in bars that are now lower lows still, then we're definitely going to look for a bear cross here. Oops, our bear cross in our indicators there. And that would definitely take a little bit more time to play out. Who's in the chat room tonight? 118 of my closest friends. Thank you guys for joining me, watching the closing candle on Bitcoin here. And we're watching for that sign of continuation after a very good day of the price action of Bitcoin. Let's look at a couple more indicators. Daily chalk and money flow is starting to look a lot better here. We had our near-term resistance breakout, back test, and I like the back test. And this little bit of a crook here can still put in some sort of a hold here and keep drifting higher to our inevitable target of our zero line on our daily chart. And again, we're only talking about getting back up to our zero line. Here's what's important about this is that we have a horizontal resistance here. Let me make that a different color so you can see it better. That's better. Not green. Orange. That's better. So we have a resistance with a high on November 29th, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high. And every time we've hit our high with a lower high, that caused the end of our bullish moves here. And so far, that's still the pattern we're watching. So things are angled for a great break of this pattern, which should be a very bullish indicator. But even with this back test of support, until we're able to break the higher low, which remains this guy here at 0.026 negative, we can then only then target our zero line. And after that, sky's the limit. If we could break that, we can talk about much more bullish momentum. And what is this line here? What is this? What is the CMF? We're talking about money flow and volume, talking about a confluence of indicators that are telling us if we're just talking about little fluffy bounces here, or is there real money behind this? And so far, it's beginning to keep the trickle up, but slowly and steady for sure. The break of that needs to be a break of $4,000. We have to break $4,000. Daily, probably time to bring up the inverse head and shoulders. A lot of people have been looking for this. I want to get this a better color. I don't like the red. Don't like the green. What do you think? Purple? Purple's pretty cool. All right, see that? I can make it very clear. That's what we're watching for. In somewhat of the shape of our candle pattern here. Now, the wider, the longer, and the higher time frame this begins to play out, the more power this can actually generate for a pattern in amongst itself. And the fact that we're on the daily here watching this is encouraging in that fact. Now, a couple things of note. We have by now confirmed our neckline sloping. I actually want to bring this higher here. So here's the thing. If I bring this higher, because our left shoulder is still kind of this intracandle thing, if we're going daily wick to wick here, with our top off of 44 and now our near-term top off of 42. And I kind of want to respect these because they were very strong resistance areas. They both produced a very strong upper wick. So I'm not super groovy on the left shoulder formation initial, but I'd like it to be a little higher, but let's just give deference to the overall pattern. These don't have to be perfect. And if this is our right shoulder, then let's face it, like that's good enough of a confirmation and at least an area that corresponds very good indeed with our left shoulder wicks. Although I would have liked to go on a little bit lower, just a little lower. Targeting 35. Well, we were pretty close. I was looking for the 35.50 as the max low to hold, and we didn't even get down there. We got a little close for sure. 35.70 there, yeah, close enough. So we're watching this right shoulder form. So what does this all mean if this is going to play out? Well, we're going to retest our neckline. That's what it means. And if we're going to keep our slope in line with a lower pattern here, a lower pattern here, and somewhat of a similarity on our left shoulder, which took about 11 days. Okay, is our right shoulder going to take 11 days? Well, if it does, then we're talking about a retest somewhere January 4th, January 5th area, right? When the candles could basically drift sideways, we'll retest somewhere in here and eventually get up here for that neckline retest. And that's our target, and that still is putting a lower low from our most recent top off at 42.50 there, or 42.30. So that tells us a couple things. We're setting up potentially for a major bullish chart indicator, which would be a confirmed inverse head and shoulders, right? Which would, in theory, give us a good headline to neckline expansion, bringing us to retest our only and nearest next step higher if we're ever going to tackle 6,000 again. We got to get through this area here, which for several days, like a week, right? Initially, there was support between 5,200 and as high as 5,650. This candle to this candle, that range there, 8% range there, $500 range here of mega resistance. You think 4,400 is tough, wait till you get to 5,500. Good luck, right? So this is our scenario we're watching from a daily longer term. This will take us weeks. This will take us into next year. This will take us into the first week, maybe the second week of January, I'm not expecting some huge mega candles, nor am I expecting a huge mega dump in the price. The bulls have shown up and they've confirmed they're prepared to buy around $3,500. We also we also have and do have at least initial support as low as 3,200 before we actually retest and put in a lower low. So there's a battle nonetheless on any kind of a retrace back to retest the $3,000 area. Okay, the bulls want to fight. The volume is decreasing. They're putting up a fight, but the volume is decreasing. Okay, we're still putting in lower lows. We're still putting in resistances that we can't break. We're still in correction patterns. When we get a little too overbought, we correct. A little too oversold, we correct. The trend continues until proven otherwise. TD counts daily. Aha. So we are on a new price flip. Intra-candle. Let's see what our variance is. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to close above 3780 area to keep this a green one. Otherwise, this should be a green one and a pretty solid one, unless we fall out of the sky in this day, unless we fall through and go back below 3780 area. And that could be a good sign for an initial sign of expansion. Let's go to a lower time frame of 12-hour. We're on a green 2. Okay, we're just starting this guy as well. We're only 20 minutes into this guy, still very early to deduce, but we're watching for a trend. And we were actually looking for a lower count in our 12-hour. We were watching on yesterday's show the 6, the 7. I thought we had at least another half a day left. We only got to our red 7. I would have liked to have gotten to an 8 or a 9. Okay, because we didn't get to an 8 or a 9, I'm not as super psyched of this bottom as much. Looking at the 6 hour. Okay, we just started a green 3 over a green 2 over a green 1. I like that. We'll also have a close above. We have two candles also closing above this area of resistance. But we see where the battle lies. At least the near-term battle lies right at 4,000. Right at $4,000 is their next area. And how our price corresponds with that area is going to be very important, because when we actually hit that area there, we could actually see a situation where the rejection is firm and the lower low is confirmed. And crap, if the bulls don't see any buyers above 4K, then that's just the end of it, okay? That's our end of our push here, okay? And the bears can reestablish dominance. Now on the 6 hour, you see how beautiful this 9 is down here? You see how clear that is? We're looking for something like that in a clarity standpoint on a time frame that fits the narrative. We're intra-candle, we're on a 5, still on our 4 hours. So this gives us some running room. And this bearish candle too gives us some running room. A little bit more. Again, all to 4K. But that's $100 from where we are here. That's like not enough of that passage to the promised land of bullishness. Okay? I think if we're really going to have to hit the 4K area there, we really have to just really break through it with conviction. I'd love to see that. We bust through $4,200 there. That would be something that says, all right, yes, 5K is definitely in play. 52 to 50, 52 to 50, this one here, 52 to 5400 narrative, definitely in play. It's all about, I think if we can break through 42, we can definitely break through 44. Absolutely. 42 brings 44, and I'm pretty confident the 44 will bring 52, because from there to here, if we're bullish as a market, we can make up these bearish candles very quickly. Just as we fell through them, we can rise into them quickly, because there's a window here. There's a window here that we had noted with the VPVR. And now we got a lot of money flow and volume in this area. Okay. And then see, here's our window. Limited price action. So the break of 4,400 can easily bring us right to 5,400 until we have our next crop of that strong resistance. But that's all only if we break through 4K with conviction. And I think with a 4K, just a 4K break with conviction, a close above 4K, anything that says, okay, 4K is legit, the neckline test, maybe there's some chop, all this can still be in play as the bullish scenario. I want to go to a higher time frame. We still have 3 days left in our monthly candle. But it's worth getting a sense of where we are, excuse me, on monthly. Okay, so our RSI on our monthly candle, even with this bullishness, right, is still kind of droopy, isn't it? I mean, we popped $1,000 in Bitcoin. We came down a little bit. This is probably a little better looking when we were at 4,200, but it's not the best looking RSI move on a very high time frame like the monthly in relation to any of our previous bottom bouncing and stuff. Okay, so on a high time frame, we're still skeptical of the meaning of this bounce because of the weakness so far on this candle of our monthly RSI. And again, still 3 days left. Anything can happen next 3 days. But within a couple $100 of our current price, these will more or less, I expect them to be in the same area. Same with our stochastic. Looking for that bottoming on both our indicators. Look up here, guys. Our blue line is at 0. Our red, orange line, 0.2873. The lower that 0.2873 gets, the closer we will be to a bottom. Okay, I'd love to see that get to close to 0. I don't think it'll get to 0. I really don't. It never got to 0 here. It got as low from a close as 1.0. So we're even lower intra-month, but we're so close. And one more dip below 3K, I believe, would take us there. But even with that, remember, it took us many months after that, ranging in an area until the bull market actually took place. So even the bottom isn't the bottom. And I said this before, we're not going to know the bottom is in until months. Until days, if not weeks, if probably months, until it's actually in. We did not know the bottom was in 2015, which it was actually in 2015. Right here, candle 5 here. Oops. We did not know that this candle was the bottom until this candle. Really. Until our back test higher low with a higher high candle confirmed with a volume confirmation that we were out of the bear market. And that was 10 months later. Okay. January to October. It was almost a year later before the market confirmed that the bear market was over. So don't think we're going to know the day the bottom is in. Okay, the week the bottom is in. Okay, this bottom here had a dead cat bounce with even a higher low, but a ranging for months. Another attempt to break out that put in a lower low the next months after. Okay, so there's so much history that tells us that bottomings take time. But this monthly candle's looking pretty good, right? Lower wick. A lot of this was bought up. From a previous wick there, we have 2 back-to-back very long wicks in a row. I'd love to close above our previous month's close. I'd love to make this a green candle. Wouldn't a green candle look so good here? We have 3 days to do it. We got to close above 4,000, 39.78. Let's put a little body on that guy. God, if we closed at 42.50, that'd be an amazing looking bottom hammer. Can the bulls do it? We have 3 days to get it done. Whew, who's in the chat room tonight? Jay Stroud, what's up, Jay? Meltem, Anthony, Game, LOL, Dragon, Mike Bone, Martine. Hello, my friends. Cornholio, Petcan, Anthony Hardy, Mike, Red Baron, 8419, to the moon. Atari IO, Swanson, King Zulu, Ted Conrad, Kerno, Jim, AJ Products S. What's up, buddy? Yes, we did. Yes, you did. Crypto Mex, what's going on, my friend? Skater, Sherry, Freer Soul Park, Noble One, Crypto House. How's everybody doing tonight on this Friday night? And we got big plans tonight? Who's going out in the town tonight? You know, I'm in tonight. It's rainy, it's cold. I don't want to go out tonight. I'm watching Bitcoin with you guys. We're still seeing that crazy arbitrage. Bitfinex, we're over 4K in Bitfinex, right? Look at this monthly candle. You know, it still looks a lot better. And Tether, so what I don't get, Tether, where are you here, is over $1. So if Tether's over $1, why are we still seeing a higher premium value on Finex? And then we're seeing a lower one. Somebody pointed this out to me. Um, it was Binance, right? No, Bitstamp, Binance. Yeah, Binance, 48.48. Yeah, so Binance is lower than Coinbase, but Finex is higher than Coinbase. And then what the heck? So that's interesting. That's definitely very interesting. Yeah, Binance is lower. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Um, so yeah, the green and the red. Who asked that? Is yeah, that's the TD sequential, which I like to use to give me a sense of kind of where we are in the sequential, and we're still on a red 5 on our monthly. And 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put in a full red count for quite a while here. We got a lot of running room until really our eighth candle, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, until our eighth candle, where we'd only have to close above $3,900. So we probably still have a couple more months of a red count um, until any kind of a confirmed price flip there. When does our 3 day end? We're only halfway through our 3 day. Did our 2 day? Oh, we did. We put in a new 2 day candle. Yeah, I like that. That's a good candle there. I do like that candle. Higher volume, higher lower wick. Inside bar of the previous bear candle's body. Um, and to crawl out of this bear count on the 2 day, 1, 2, 3, 4, we have to close again 4,000. Everything keeps pointing to 4,000. You break 4,000, and we can really put a lot of our higher targets in line. We don't break 4,000, and lower lows um, are for sure. Mr. Senator, can you go through the Ichimoku and the BB? Absolutely. So let's get rid of our TD. Can I have my volume just to clean the chart up for just a moment? And let's do Bollinger's first. Let's do a Bollinger analysis. I want to go back to Coinbase. Comfortable using Coinbase. There you are. Okay, so what do we know about our 4-hour Bollingers? We know that they don't like to break outside and close outside for more than 3 candles, basically no more than 4. Okay, even when they're super bearish. Okay, except for obvious extreme moments like these here where we just go nutso. But in this ranging here, and all we're doing is ranging. Okay, we're ranging. Okay, remember when we ranged in Bitcoin in the 6K? This was ranging. This was our move. We're ranging once again, and our range is still fairly wide here. So because of that, I expect our Bollingers to snake, okay? To not collapse, but to snake. And so because of that, what are we seeing consistencies with? Well, if we get through our upper Bollingers too quickly, we get the hand slapped, and we have to be forced to come in. We can ride our middle Bollinger. As long as we ride it, we can reattest our upper BB. When we break our lower Bollinger and we test our lower BB, find resistance at our middle Bollinger, we're probably going to retest our lower BB. And if we can break through our middle Bollinger once again, we're going to retest our upper Bollinger. So what do we see here? We see 4 candles in a row trying to spread out our Bollinger. I'm going to bring back my volume bars. And we're watching our declining volume with our rising price, with our upper Bollinger resistance on not the widest, but not the tightest 4-hour candles here. Okay, so it's going to be tougher to get through this here just the way this is set up, unless epic volume comes in. I'd like to see this chill out a while, excuse me, and allow this to reset a little bit before a push higher. For us to ride it like this, which is possible, okay, we would need to see obviously the volume come in, but we have established our middle Bollinger Connect as support for additional bullish expansion. On a daily chart, same deal. Yesterday's show, I put a tweet about this yesterday. We held our middle Bollinger area, closed right on it, break through it intra-candle, boom. And because we held it, because of that, I want to target my upper Bollinger, right? I want to target my upper Bollinger, which just kind of so happens to coincide with my neckline area, right? Somewhere will be out here in a few days. So all these things begin to line up. You hold middle Bollinger support. You can try and retest our upper BB again. But every time we test our upper Bollinger Band, we find it as resistance. Until proven otherwise, that trend could still be kept in that situation there. Weekly. So, two things here on the weekly. Again, higher time frames are more meaningful. Many weeks outside of the lower Bollinger was too much. 1, 2, 3, 4 come back in. Lower BB still over 3K, but just barely. Middle Bollinger still falling. 56.50 and falling. Note this candle. This was our tether pump back here in October. Major middle BB resistance. Oops. Note this candle here, our September high, middle BB resistance. So do we all agree that middle Bollinger on the weekly is epically strong in resistance whenever it's tackled? And mark my word, it will be tackled again as it falls. And at some point, we'll meet the price action where it will test one more time to see how really strong the resistance is. Yeah, there's lots of death crosses, CryptoMex, that are beginning to slowly get in the very close sentiment. And those death crosses, lower term EMAs, higher term EMAs falling through lower terms, all of that. These are signals that we can see a situation of the lack of this bullish push to push higher. Okay, this is our weekly candle here. 2 more days in this candle. What is it right now? Well, it's just an indecision doji. What can it be? It can be very bullish with a close above 39.44 and 93 cents. Why 33.94.93? Because that was the previous close of this weekly here, which would put in a higher low weekly close, which would bring a lot of eyeballs to Bitcoin, which will bring money to Bitcoin. An ability or a failure to do that, and we're not really that bullish yet. We're not as bullish as we want to be. This candle here, though indecision on the weekly, is not bullish yet. It can be. This is not bearish yet, but it could be. In 2 more days, we'll get a better, clearer picture of how we want to judge this candle. But right now, with the equal length of both these wicks here on a lower volume profile, it's really still anybody's game, even with the most recent bullish move in the price action here. But boy, could it give an advantage to one side or the other in the next few days if one side or the other begins to actually take shape and show the more of a conviction. Who's got the strength, right? Did the monthly, did the weekly. Oh yeah. Bitcoin longs, Bitcoin shorts. You can see I was prepared for this. start with the longs here. The longs, this is the daily. These are both daily charts. The long capitulation here, okay? They rose up. They were still buying into the break of 6,000. And they realized, nope, this thing is not stopping at 5,500. Nasty capitulation, okay? Brought all the overboughts to a more of an inline. And it's given them some running room, right? They ran, they chilled out, they put in a higher low. It's giving them running room, but it's also showing us where the near-term resistance has basically continued to be. I had a better parallel here, and TradingView keeps resetting it. Yeah, something like that. There we go. Move that there. Bingo. That's better. So we see our channel support, and we see our touch. We see our touch. We see our another touch. And let's hold it, and let's retest our middle channel support. Now, what would break this? What would break this would be really the failure to break 4,000. That would totally pull our longs, I believe, below our channel and start to retest those low areas. And that would be just an overall bearish sense. That would be a clear sense that we're going back to 3K. Now look at our shorts here. This is a different situation. I guess I could still call it a giant flag still, although we're right on the cusp of it not being because of the length of the flag. But not terrible. And we're holding our channel as a whole. And one more breakdown to this purple line would be that last little push potentially to 4K. And this line is kind of a zone, really. This is a zone where we found support. Could go a little bit lower, I go a little bit higher, but right around this area for our shorts has found support here. And because of this trickle down here versus the really big dump we had in November, I'm looking for this to hold support, and I'm looking for the shorts to rise once again and retackle. There's running room. Just as there was running room to go a little bullish, there's going to be running room to go bearish. Our RSI has reset. Our stochastic has reset. Our MACD is broken so bearish, but our histogram is rising. So the cycle of the negative feels to be completing, which is the inverse of the positive, which basically means that a rising shorts is a bearish Bitcoin and a falling longs is a bearish Bitcoin. So the shorts right now, near term, after a couple $100 more of longs before a rejection in this area, could suggest a little bit more before a major resistance. But all coincides with the 4K area being that major resistance that we just can't break through. Whew. Okay. Wow. 50 minutes. Thank you guys for joining me. Let's see where I want to wrap up here. Let's go on some tight price action. Take a peek here. You know, we saw that volume coming earlier, and we're still rising up here. You know, we're still rising up, and we're doing this channel. Boom. So we're holding our channel here, and we're flagging, and we have running room. And here's why we have running room. Because what was once resistance, and very strong, 38.40, okay? Here was our bear break. Here was our triple rejection, 1, 2, 3. Okay, go back down. We break through it. And this was a very important back test right here. And we held it. And we held it. And we're holding it. Above 3843, and Bitcoin can be bullish, and we can begin to still target our 4K region and above. Below 3843, give or take a few bucks, obviously, we'll put that in doubt. We'll put our overall inverse head and shoulders, our very bullish inverse head and shoulders, in doubt. You know? Until then, this is the riding narrative. There's money coming in still. We're seeing that in the price action. But we're still putting in a lower low. And until that changes, this pattern is just a longer drawn out pattern of what we've seen before, where we basically hold a high, put in a higher high, fail to hold both of those. Now we start putting lows and lower lows. Change the narrative, and we can put our higher targets in play. Whew. 139 of you guys have stuck with me this whole hour. I'm truly flattered and honored by your presence. I hope you guys have some fun on this Friday night. Remember to give me a thumbs up on these likes. Remember to give me a follow on Twitter and a follow on YouTube. Remember to reach out to me if you have interest in my online personalized mentoring discussions. Next week is, I'm proud to say, fully booked and scheduled. So definitely scheduling for, I guess, the second week now in January. So please feel free to reach out to me on DM or email me bigchonis@gmail.com. So we're going to watch our price action of Bitcoin. New day begins. Heading into our weekend here. Still a holiday weekend. New Year's Eve is Monday night. And we're going to start 2019 watching Bitcoin, watching the price action, and doing it all together. Because I love talking to you guys, sharing my best thoughts, my best ideas, and trying to teach and just be, a good steward in this crypto community. So until then, guys, have a great Friday night. Give me a thumbs up. We'll be in touch. Big Chonis. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye.